as we all know, the markets are in quite a bit of turmoil because of the tariff, what we thought were going to be negotiations, and I still think will be negotiations. But President Trump has taken a very strong line of argument here, and arguing that reciprocity is necessary to create a fair playing field out there. Now, we're all trying to get our heads around how exactly he we know how he calculated his version of reciprocity, but it doesn't seem to make very much sense. And things do feel a bit chaotic out there, and the markets are convulsing as a result. There's a lot of uncertainty.
President Trump's tariffs have shaken the core of economic stability worldwide. The Dow is down 2,200 points, a day after it was reported that the stock market has seen its biggest crash since 2020. Many are furious, with some economists and strategists suggesting that this may be the worst economic policy move in the last 100 years. Cathie Wood, CEO and CIO of ARK Invest, gave her take on the situation. Cathie believes that this is all a negotiation tactic. According to Cathie, it is well known that President Trump wants to be one of the greatest presidents of all time, and in pursuit of that vision, he cannot single-handedly crash the stock market and send the economy into a recession in one fell swoop. Therefore, she believes an agreement will be made before these tariffs kick in. Cathie also went on to discuss how, despite the uncertain future that lies ahead, there is a very high chance we can have an economy like we did in the 90s, where the government was fiscally responsible and technology went to a new level. Let's listen to what Cathie has to say.
We know that Trump wants a legacy. President Trump wants to be one of the greatest presidents ever. That's his objective, and he's not going to get there by throwing the economy into a recession and the stock market into a bear market. And we're verging on both of those now. So we're getting close to the line in the sand where I think his negotiations will kick into gear and will be more productive than what we've heard recently. So that's the bet, and it's logical if we understand who President Trump is. Not only is that our bet, but we're seeing other reasons for the tide to change here. According to the Atlanta Fed's GDP Now survey, the economy contracted almost 4%, that's real GDP growth, sequentially at an annual rate in the first quarter. That's a big drop. Now, a lot of that could be imports ahead of the tariffs, and surely that is the case. The offset, though, would be a lot of them ending up in inventory, so there could be a lag there. I don't know. I would say that in the second quarter, the likelihood of a negative quarter is increasing here just because of the amount of uncertainty. Well, we know that about 30% of the labor force is probably wondering if it's going to keep its jobs, or the people in the labor force are going to keep their jobs. Federal employees, now that's not the biggest part of government, but there is a trickle-down effect to state and local, and even to quasi-government jobs in the healthcare and education space. And that would account for 30% of the labor force. Just wondering, worrying, and probably holding back on purchases until the outcome is clearer. We also have another swath of people, and these are more in the white-collar world, especially middle management, that is seeing middle management layers taken out in many companies. Certainly that's the case in the tech space. And artificial intelligence is part of the reason this is happening. Those left are becoming much more productive. And corporations, many of them, are starting to flatten the hierarchies. We're seeing it in tech. We're seeing it in some financial services companies. That's another swath of the labor force that is probably wondering, what about me? And of course, beyond that, we have uncertainty associated with potential legislation. Tax cuts, when will they be effective? Now, the good thing there is this administration, if it holds to its word, is saying that it will make tax cuts, not the ones tax cuts, any new tax cuts, retroactive either to January 20th, the inauguration, or the date of the legislation. Nonetheless, there is still uncertainty, and it could be that small businesses and other businesses are deferring the recognition of income until they figure out exactly what these tax changes are all about. So we've got a lot of reasons for the velocity of money, and I've talked about this before, the velocity of money to slow down considerably as people and businesses hold back on their spending out of fear of losing jobs or out of anticipation of better tax rates sometime in the future. So a lot of uncertainty, but with 2 down quarters in GDP, we believe that the Trump administration and the Fed are now going to have more degrees of freedom to do what they want in terms of stimulating the economy. Now, the tariffs are certainly not in that category, and we do need clarity there. I know that that President Trump wrote The Art of the Deal, and I know that throwing things into chaos is part of striking deals and getting to better outcomes. But I do feel, and the markets do feel, that President Trump might be playing with fire here. And today, China's retaliation, 34% tariff across the board for all U.S. goods, is an indication that that might be true. So one of the things that I've also been trying to communicate, and I will do this with the slides now, is that...
As we just heard, Cathie believes we are on the edge of something big happening in the market. This can go either way, depending on if Trump's tariffs are strictly a bluff with the intention to negotiate, or if he truly follows through, which can be devastating. In this next clip, Cathie goes to the charts and gives a brief economic history lesson, and compares it to where we might be heading in our current climate. Let's listen to what Cathie has to say.
Okay, so let me go into the charts now, starting with fiscal policy. All right. So here, I've seen these charts for years and years and years, and but I didn't realize that we had hit from a public debt as a percent of GDP, that we had hit the peak we reached in World War II. In the 2000 timeframe, there was the thought, could we be heading in the tech and telecom bust? Could we be heading towards that level? But here we are. And, that was a crisis time, and the country really did pull together after that to get the debt as a percent of GDP down. It did it in 2 ways. more control over government spending. Of course, we weren't in the war anymore, so that was a big source. But also on the GDP side, rapid growth. Post-World War II, very rapid growth. Doge, we think, is an attempt to pull us out of a quagmire, it seems, in terms of government spending. It's what held the economy up, or real GDP up, along with high-end consumers during the last few years. But this is certainly excessive as we see it now in context. And you can even see in the 20s, in the 20s and 30s, we didn't get anywhere near this level. Another look at the budget, and you can see total outlays as a percent of GDP, around 24%. Now, what is not clear from this chart, but I do know, having studied this, is that receipts tend to top out in the 17 to 20% range. If the government tries to tax people any higher, they figure out ways around it. They either stop working or they do a lot more under the table. I don't know what it is exactly, but that receipts as a percent of GDP rarely goes above 20%. So this deficit is structural. And I do believe that with Doge and with more rapid GDP growth, we could move back into the period like the 90s. That was the last time we saw a surplus, and it was under President Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich, who was a powerhouse in Congress, and they worked together to get that done. We do not have as much of a bipartisan situation right now, so we'll probably have to do more on the rapid GDP growth side of things. And if we're right, if deregulation, tax cuts, lower interest rates are what we're going to see as the government has more degrees of freedom during negative GDP quarters, then I do think we'll see much more rapid growth in the months ahead.
To watch the entire interview, check out the link in the description. What do you think of Cathie's thoughts here? What do you see coming with President Trump's tariffs? Leave a comment. If you found value in the content, hit the like button, as that greatly helps the channel find similar viewers like you. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on the latest news and commentary on the markets. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. SIM swap fraud is sweeping the globe, and your mobile security is at risk. Switch to Ifani and lock out SIM swap fraud and get the most elite mobile protection in the world. Ifani guarantees 100% protection from SIM swaps, backed by a $5 million insurance policy. Stay secure with reliable coverage, free international roaming, and unlimited data. Trust Ifani to keep your communications and assets secure. Get military-grade protection, 24/7 concierge service, and a hassle-free upgrade. Click the link below for $150 off. Thanks for watching. Help support this channel and receive exclusive offers from one of our partners located in the description. We'll see you on the next one.